Hello, everybody. My name is Cynthia Kane, and I am with the Emporia State University Libraries and Archives. Welcome to the first of two video tutorials to help you with your annotated bibliography for EG102 Composition 2. The outcomes that we hope you'll be able to do by the time you finish both video tutorials is first to use something called SIFT, S-I-F-T. We're going to be going over this technique in this first video. And the SIFT technique can be used to help you analyze any source of information, print or online, for credibility and reliability, and also for potential usefulness for your annotated bibliography and an upcoming research paper. In the second video, we'll be teaching you how to use the Discovery Search Catalog in our library and also appropriate library subject-specific databases also available through the library's webpage in order to find useful and reliable sources for your annotated bibliography. And finally, in the second video tutorial, we'll be teaching you how to use something called cite or citation tools. This is a specific feature that is in many databases, and it can help you generate and create MLA-style citations. You are going to be using the MLA, Modern Language Association style, to write your papers and do your bibliographies in composition. The thing about citation tools is that they will often have errors that are actually inherent in the original record, and so you need to go back and proofread those. We'll be showing you what to look for in our second video tutorial as well. But as mentioned in this first video, we're going to be analyzing SIFT, SIFT. So you have probably learned over the years how to tell if a website or an online source is actually factual or if it's completely unreliable and you really don't even know where it came from. There are lots of ways of doing that. We're going to teach you a technique in this tutorial that's called SIFT for Stop, Investigate, Find Trusted Coverage, and tracing claims, quotes, and media back to the original context. This is especially crucial in this age of technology and also in this age of fake news, in which it's so easy for somebody to post something on social media and you have no idea where that original source came from or if there was even an original source to begin with. Now, I'm going to be showing you a copy of the SIFT handout, and your composition instructor may have already provided you with a copy of this handout on your campus course. So this is what it looks like. So SIFT, again, would be the 4 moves to evaluate information sources. And I like this technique because it works for any type of source. You can have print, you can have online, you can have a personal interview with an expert in the field. It doesn't matter what the format is. These 4 steps can help you decide whether or not a source of information is going to be effective for your research or for your future knowledge. So the first one is called stop. Stop and ask yourself, do you know the source of this information? Do you know where this website actually came from? Do you know what reputation it has? What is it actually trying to claim? If you can tell this, you're doing pretty well. But if you can't identify these elements, go to the next 3 areas of SIFT. The next one is investigate. I like to take a minute to see not only the source of information, but also where it is coming from. If it's an article, whether it's print or online, is it from a scholarly journal or a general magazine or just a website that somebody created just for their own amusement or own entertainment? If it's a Wikipedia article, Wikipedia could be used for background information. It's just that I probably wouldn't rely on Wikipedia as a sole source of information for a topic. And if you're looking at a book, whether it's a print book or an electronic book, can you tell who published it? Can you see if the author's background or credentials are listed somewhere in the book on why they wrote it and why they're qualified to write this book? And if it's a website or a video, can you tell who actually is sponsoring it? Is it an association? Is it an organization? Is it something that somebody just created, again, just for their own entertainment? F, is for find. Find trusted coverage. Now, this is especially important, I think, when you're looking at perhaps a site or a source of information that somebody has posted on social media. It is not unusual, for example, to find quotes that are taken out of context, which are also covered under the T for trace, for tracing claims, quotes, and media back to the original context. So for finding trusted coverage, try to find out what claim that source is making and whether or not that claim is true. And that could be especially important in health-related issues, scientific discoveries, anything like that that could be potentially controversial. Can you find any trusted coverage that might either back up or discredit that claim? And then on T, on tracing claims, quotes, and media back to the original context. I really like to do this when I see something posted on social media. Think about how easy it is to copy and paste somebody's quote and then take it completely out of context. Or take a quote and paste it on a meme that looks very controversial, and then that can actually make the person who said the original quote look like they are believing in the completely opposite point of view. Very, very easy to do in today's society with all the tools that we have access to. See if you can find the original source of that information, and it may completely change the intent of the message that is being conveyed. So we're going to practice with this. On the next slide, we're going to take a look at the information on it, and we're going to think about those SIFT guidelines in determining whether the claim on the next slide is true or false. Now, this may be something that you've seen before. I've seen this posted on social media many times. Well, let's take a look at this. It looks like it's a photo of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former governor of California, and I really can't tell if that's photoshopped or not. It looks like he's sleeping in a sleeping bag in front of a statue of himself from when he was a bodybuilder back in the 1970s. And it's in front of a building, but I can't really tell what building it is. Well, let's look at this text. And this was actually the text that accompanied this image on social media, such as Facebook and Twitter. I found this online several months ago. And when we read the text, he sadly wrote how times have changed. And the text is saying that when he was governor of California, he inaugurated a hotel with his statue. So it looks like we're being led to believe that this is the hotel and the statue. So supposedly he was told by hotel staff that at any moment you can come back and you can have a room reserved for you. But then he went back after he stepped down as governor. And then supposedly he was refused a hotel room in the same hotel. And the argument was that Arnold should pay for it since the rooms were in great demand. So in protest, he brought a sleeping bag and he posed for this picture. And the message that he wanted to convey was, when I was in an important position, they always complimented me. And when I lost this position, they forgot about me and did not keep their promise. And we wind up with another quote, but again, we're not quite sure where this quote actually came from. You are not always who you think you will always be. Nothing lasts forever. So think about this image and think about this text. Is it true? Is it false? And how do the elements of SIFT apply to this photo and text? We're going to look at this, and then this is the same technique that we would like for you to apply to any source of information that you're looking at for your annotated bibliography. So we're going to stop. Do we know the source of this information? Let's go back for just a second. Well, I copied and pasted this directly from Facebook. And because I did that, I have nothing in context here on, did this actually come from Arnold Schwarzenegger? Where did the photo actually come from? Are the photo and the text actually related? Who wrote this text? We have no idea. So that can make a difference on stopping and then investigating. I don't have any actual source listed. I don't know who wrote the text. Does the photo, when we go back here, look as if Arnold is in front of a hotel? I suppose I could make an argument that this looks like a convention center attached to a hotel, but other than that, I have no clues in the photo. I have no name of a hotel. I don't know the city. I don't know anything about this. It doesn't really even look like a hotel. So F for find trusted coverage. What coverage is out there that could help you verify this information? Some of you may be familiar with the website of Snopes at www.snopes.com. Snopes is one source that I will often go to when I have something like this that pops up on social media. Snopes is very good about keeping up with these types of stories, and they will do investigations to tell whether that particular story is true or if it's false or if it's a mixture. We're going to switch over here for just a second and move down to tracing claims back to the original context. Now I'm going to come back to the Onion and to fact check because I do want to show you those areas as other sources of information that you can use to check and find trusted coverage and tracing claims. So we're going to switch over to this article from Snopes that was titled, "Was Arnold Schwarzenegger forced to sleep outside a hotel that he had helped open?" We're going to find out. And let's go over here. Here's the article that I found from Snopes. And I used this article to figure out any truth or anything else going on in that image and text. There's the claim. And this one is actually very interesting. It's actually a miscaptioned photo. So what happened with this, and there's that text again, there's the photo. It turned out that the photo itself is real, and sometimes that can be unusual because it's so easy to Photoshop or change photos. But this is a good illustration of something in which you can take an actual photo, or somebody else can, and completely take it out of context. So this was a real photo, and it was taken in January 2016. He was shooting a film in Columbus, Ohio. And so it looks like Arnold actually had somebody take this photo of himself and he posted it to his Instagram account as a joke with a caption, "How times have changed." Well, that's pretty entertaining as a joke, and hopefully his followers on Instagram would get that. Now, we don't know who actually picked up the photo and the caption, "How times have changed," and then wrote that text, but somehow that happened. It is located outside a convention center, so it's not situated in front of a hotel. And we could kind of tell that, but again, sometimes it's hard to tell just from the photograph alone. So the photograph was real, but somehow someone decided that it might be fun to write text like this, put it with that original photograph, and then put it out on social media. Something you do want to look for too when you're evaluating information, look for language that I would say is designed to evoke a certain emotion. I think what we're supposed to feel when we read something like this is maybe we're not supposed to feel sorry for Arnold Schwarzenegger, but we are certainly supposed to have some type of, maybe not pity, but the idea that you are not always who you think you will always be, and nothing lasts forever. That certainly is designed to evoke emotions. Now, emotions can be very powerful, but emotions are not going to be the best way to verify facts. Sometimes you have to try to get away from the emotions in different words and focus on, are there actually any facts in that text? Is it factual or not? And that can be a little bit challenging to do. So I mentioned that there are at least two other sources that you can use. And a lot of you may be familiar with The Onion. I love it because it's titled as America's finest news source. Now, you probably know that The Onion is very satirical in tone. I like to read it for a laugh because it's a good way of sort of capturing some absurdities in life and in society. But you have probably also seen people that have picked up stories from The Onion, thought that they were true, and linked them on social media. So sometimes you can trace something back, and if it originated from The Onion, you can say, No, that really isn't true. It's designed to be entertaining. It's designed to be satire. Another source that I like is factcheck.org, and this is a project of the Annenberg Public Policy Center. This is a not-for-profit organization. FactCheck is very good about following current stories and current information and doing exactly as the title says. They are checking the facts behind claims, and that can really help you determine what's going on kind of behind a story, especially something, again, that is very current. It's been actually extremely good on keeping up with coverage of the coronavirus. So I will often go to factcheck.org if I have a question about something. And you can see in this particular page that we're viewing now, they were busy fact-checking the Democratic Convention and the Republican Convention. So there are other ways that you can evaluate information, but I would really encourage you again to use this concept of SIFT, because these are questions, again, that you can apply to any source of information: a book, a website, a personal interview, an article. Use that to determine credibility and reliability, and in particular, if you need to trace a claim back to the original context. I think that's extremely important because of the way things can be taken out of context now and then distributed just within milliseconds. Thank you for watching this video. You are now ready to watch our second video tutorial for your annotated bibliography. And in this one, we're going to be showing you how to use library resources and Google Scholar, and we're going to help you find your sources for your annotated bibliography. So we'll be focusing on that a little bit more. Remember that you can always reach us at 341-5207 for the reference desk. Email at librefo1@emporia.edu, and you can reach the library's webpage directly at www.emporia.edu/library. Thank you for watching.